Hi, we're live and we're here to get some information from Thoth The Atlantean. I'm Rebecca and I'm going to be your messenger for today. Now, you might be asking, who is Thoth? Thoth is known as the Egyptian god of wisdom and magic. However, he was around way before that. He wrote the Emerald Tablets. Now, I'm not talking about the one emerald tablets that is known of by Hermes. I'm talking about 10 emerald tablets that are over 36,000 years old. Reading these emerald tablets, the compendium of them has opened me up like nothing I've done before. So today's the first message that he wants to channel through me live. However, this morning I was talking to him and he gave me a message that I feel like this is a beautiful channeling and I think it will uplift you, because here's what I said to him. Any being of light that asks me to channel, and I am an interdimensional channel, which means I don't just do one, they have to have a message that's powerful, uplifting. Who wants a message that makes you feel all sad or like you're not good enough? Useful, a message that you can use, and empowering, something that empowers you, not that you have to keep coming back to a channel. So that's my criteria. And here's what he said to me this morning, and I took it down in writing. And here's what I said. It has to be empowering, making people feel like they can do this, I can do this. So many teachings seem to make people feel small, like they could never do it. Whatever the teaching is, I could never do that. I do not wish to transmit messages like this. And then Trust said to me, this will be helpful even to the most evolved soul and helpful to those who consider themselves less evolved. And he continues, we're not so concerned about the truly more evolved soul. Evolved souls, if they truly are, they would be connected so well, they would be getting their own information, being fed by their own guidance. We're coming to those who feel less than. And when he says me, he means all the incarnations that he's been, the wisdoms that he's shared, and sometime I'll share with you some of those incarnations. We are coming to those who feel less than, less evolved, because you're going to like this. Humility is a sign that you are evolving. Humility is a sign that you are evolving. Those who consider themselves more evolved than others are already in judgment. Go Thoth, right? Thoth, I say his name wrong. I'm sorry. Let each walk his own path. Let each forgive himself daily. Let each allow their own, go to the next page, heart light to guide them. Let each be true to choose for themselves. Yes, as light workers, you do desire to be of service. Let the service begin with you, constantly asking your spirit, shine the light on my path, all is well. Thank you, Thoth. Now, before I bring him in like he's not already here, I do want to tell you that I'm a conscience channel. In other words, I don't vacate my body and don't know what's happening. We share consciousness. He'll give me a packet of information, and then my consciousness will spit it out. And then I often have questions for myself. So I actually have no idea what he wants to talk about. So I'm just going to get quiet. I'm having a little argument with him. Go ahead. Okay. So, as Thoth, it is my desire to speak to you today through Rebecca of the idea of restitution. For it has been so long that humanity has been robbed of many facets of their DNA, been robbed of many accumulations of information throughout the bone marrow, throughout the pineal gland. And so it is my desire to speak a bit today on the topic of restitution. And what's important is that you know you have the right to ask for restitution. You have the right to ask for your own abilities to be reestablished, to become more powerful than ever. And I hear the question from Rebecca's consciousness saying, who shall they ask? And I say to you that first and foremost, recognize your own spirit within. Your own spirit within is always connected to the all that is. It is not necessary to be going outside of your spirit within to a being of light that you feel is greater than your own being of light. And so recognizing that you have the right to ask for the restitution. Now I want to talk about forgiveness. It is known among light workers that very often you are so forgiving that you lay down and allow people to run over you. One of the things to ask restitution about is your courage, your belief in yourself, your willingness to open up. Yes, that is there. And your willingness to be of service. Yes, that is there. But so often you forget who you are. You forget that you are as divine as any divine light anywhere. And that is just the beginning of what I want to speak to you today about. So, what would you like to have restored to you? In many lifetimes, you have been very powerful psychically. You have been very powerful as healers. You have been very powerful in many ways. And yet, so many of you actually chose this lifetime to come in, as Rebecca did, with no powers at all, and have to work your way back to that. And so let's take the elevator instead of the stairs by focusing on asking your spirit within to begin the restoration process. And while I'm talking about asking your spirit within, I'd like to speak on the topic of ritual. Ritual is very important in the human experience. And I know there's Bible verses that says it's a sounding gong and all of that stuff. And yet the ritual, when done with intent, what they were speaking of is rituals that you did just for show. Your private rituals done with intent are very powerful. Your private healing ceremonies done with intent are very powerful. And I say to you now that what is needed is to be in the space of allowing repetition, to repeat a ritual with the intent and maybe accelerate the intent. For there are often at least 12 layers of healing that need to occur. And when you do a ritual just one time or a healing just one time, then you might take off only one layer, and then you say, well, my healing abilities stink. I did not do it right. And it is simply that it needs to be repeated. It needs to be repeated until you feel this sense of freedom. And I would say to you, any healing that you are desiring, hesitate not to repeat it at least 12 times. 27 is ideal. And making sure that you get all of those layers that have accumulated and have kept you like a hardened shell around you. Now, the next topic we wish to speak to you about is the topic of people from inner earth. I am very connected to the people of inner earth, for it is the gateway to the halls of Amenti, the place where I went after each incarnation to recharge myself. There are caverns of healing there you cannot imagine. There are regeneration chambers there you're not quite ready to access. What is important now is to realize there are at least 5 civilizations within inner earth. And there is one who I'm very close to, Rebecca's very close to, which is those who have descended from Atlantis. They brought forth with them all the technologies, all the techniques, and leaving behind that little factor that moved them into getting in trouble in the first place, which was being greedy for too much power, to jump ahead of themselves. And now these people of inner earth desire to connect with you on a magnetic level. And so you would say to me, well, how would I connect with the people of inner earth? First, intend that it be with this civilization that I am referring to, who are, you could call them the inner Atlanteans, for they are your predecessors, ancestors. You carry the genetic codes as well as they do. So a simple way to get connected with them is simply it's very helpful to be outside and to just place your feet upon the earth and send a vibration of connection down to them. They're just desiring to be connected. And don't start asking them for stuff right away. Humans have a tendency to only want to do something if it's beneficial to you. And yes, this is human nature. Yes, it is normal. And yet, when you meet someone, do you immediately ask them for a favor? Now, Rebecca has asked me to use the language that you understand. She gets really pissed off when people have to channel through these huge words and huge concepts that the average person cannot understand. So, as an average person, Rebecca feels that she is asking you to desire to get in touch with these people of inner earth just for some communion. For some communion. Passing the energy back and forth. And if you need a ritual for that, I've already stated that it's very good to go outside. It's very good not to have any barriers between you and the skin of Mother Earth, to be barefoot, possible. And if you're wearing socks, that they be 100% cotton and not have chemicals in the way. And just as your ritual, send down just the energy of connection down to the people of inner earth. It's actually very beneficial for them to send magnetism up to you, because it helps to discharge some of their magnetism. Just like for health reasons, it's very helpful for you to squish your feet around outside in the grass. This helps for you to discharge your electricity. So there's two-way discharging going on. And so we've covered the idea of restitution, asking your spirit for it. And we've covered connection. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Rebecca. And thank you for your reaching out. There will be more messages to come in the very near future. So it is. So it is. So it is. So it is. Thank you, Thoth, for that brief yet enlightening message. I encourage all of you to take it to heart. If you have questions, it's easier if you put them in the comment section, because I can come back and answer those later and perhaps get some guidance from Thoth for you. Now, if you feel that this information is helpful, uplifting, self-empowering, what else did I say? And useful. Can it be used? Not too complicated? Would you share it on social media or by email if you feel it meets all those criteria? I'll be back soon with another message from Thoth. He does want me to talk about the hidden kingdoms of the world and various things. This is Rebecca. Thank you so much for caring enough to take time out of your day to watch this. You are loved, and you are wonderful, and you are enough. So it is.